If you know the face, you might be sitting here thinking to yourself, this looks like Locked On Devils. It's the same host as Locked On Devils, but I can assure you, this is not Locked On Devils. I'd say cue the intro. I don't have an intro yet. But hi, my name is Zach Berman. I am the host of Locked On New Jersey Devils, and this is a foray into the unknown, so to speak, and something I'd like to call Berman's Big Board. This is something that I've wanted to do for a while, have never really had the chance to do so, and if you're watching this, odds are you know me from my time in the broadcast booth or from my time as the host of Locked On Devils. Don't worry, that is not going anywhere. I promise you. But this is something completely different, something I've been wanting to do. And the name is a dead ringer for what this is. This is a show, a podcast, a YouTube channel, whatever you want to call it, about NFL rookies, the NFL draft. Once we get into the offseason, well, we already are in the offseason for some teams, but once we get past draft season, who's going to be the guy in fantasy football? Who's going to win you your leagues? And then once the start of the NFL season rolls around, we're going to be looking at not just who's popping off from the rookie class, but we're going to look ahead to the next class. We're going to go into college and we're going to start digging in to who's going to be that guy to rise up the draft boards in 2027 and beyond. But this is where we start. If you don't know, I am typically an attendee at the Reese's Senior Bowl, and that is not changing this year. I will be heading down to Mobile in approximately 10 days. Now, if you've never been, it is one of the best weeks in all of sports. Always a great time. It's going to be interesting. Year one without Jim Nagy at the helm. Of course, Jim Nagy, the former czar of the Senior Bowl, left to be a personnel director for the University of Oklahoma. So things might look and feel a little bit different this year. But the class of guys that are making their way to Mobile, it is a phenomenal class this year, and one that I'm very excited to talk to you guys about. And we're going to be breaking down film once I figure out how to do that. There is a lot that I am looking to figure out how to do with this channel. Like I said, this is a leap into the unknown for me. This is something I've never done before, and something that is completely and utterly different from any of my current content. So I'm so excited to start off and get the show on the road. And tomorrow we're going to get into players. But today we're going to start with something that has nothing to do with players at all. We are going to talk about coaches. There are, as it stands, Wednesday, January 14th, it is 10:55 at night here on the East Coast. There are 9 NFL coaching vacancies. And I could do them right off the top of my head. Giants, Cardinals, Browns, Dolphins, Steelers, Ravens, Raiders, Titans, Falcons. That's your 9. And the question is, who do I think is going to be the best fit for each of those jobs? Because every single one of those jobs has something going for him, except for maybe Arizona. Phoenix is a nice place to live. But other than that, every single one of these jobs has something going for it. And it is going to be my job to tell you who I think, and you can mark this down right now. This is who I think. I'm curious to see what my success rate is and what it isn't. So without further ado, we're going to start right about now. Now, with this, I'm going off of some live betting odds here. I'm going off of Bet Online. And why? Because that just seems like the most. I don't want to step on our lovely Locked On partners over at FanDuel. So Bet Online it is. And oh yeah, because it's my podcast, I can also say whatever I want. No, I don't have to be clean because the powers that be would like me to be. So yeah, let's fucking go. Let's begin. The Arizona Cardinals, by far and away, in my opinion, the worst job of the bunch. Entering quarterback hell. I don't know what they're going to do with Kyler Murray. Are they going to trade him? The roster doesn't feel like it's anywhere near there. And then you're also factoring in the fact that you're in a division where there's still 3 teams left in the playoffs right now. So probably the toughest spot to come into in the National Football League in terms of open jobs. Arizona, they're going to need a culture setter, somebody that really knows how to step in and motivate from the jump. And when I look at the list right now, if you go on to Bet Online, Vance Joseph seems like he's the top of the list. He's plus 225. I'm not going to pick the odds-on favorites for every single one of these openings, but I don't think Vance Joseph necessarily is going to want to tie his horse to an organization that is so far away from competing. Vance Joseph already had one chance to be an NFL head coach, and it didn't end well for him. So I don't think we're going to see Vance Joseph go to an organization that has not had a lot of success recently, especially an organization where you look at the roster, you look at who they're playing 6 times a year, and you say to yourself, I don't love our options there. So I'm going to go down the list a little bit and say Arthur Smith. And I know if you're a Cardinals fan, if for whatever reason you're actually watching this, you're saying to yourself, oh my God, Arthur Smith. Look, he's not a guy that if I were a fan, I'm not going to sit here and say this is the hire that's going to make you happy. This is the hire that I believe is realistic. And Arthur Smith is a guy that, for whatever it's worth, has done good jobs making lemonade out of lemons. Most recently is the Steelers offensive coordinator with an old Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, and turned a Falcons team with Des Ridder into a competitive bunch. I don't necessarily think he's the worst coach like some people treat him as. He's not a flashy hire. He's a guy that if my team hired him, I'd be disappointed. But this is not meant to appease people. This is meant to be what I think actually happens. So Arthur Smith right now, he's plus 1,000 to be the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Feels about right. Now we go from probably the least desirable head coaching opening to the most desirable head coaching opening in the National Football League, and that would be the Baltimore Ravens. Now, on the surface, Baltimore is in just an incredible spot compared to the rest of these teams. They have a superstar quarterback in Lamar Jackson, probably the best roster out of anybody that is currently searching for a job. ownership that is widely regarded to be one of the better ownership groups in the National Football League, and a team that wins. This team just wins football games, except for this year. And that's why John Harbaugh was shown the boot after 18 years of service as head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. I trust Ravens ownership to get this right. This feels like not necessarily a slam dunk hire, but when I look at culturally who fits the Baltimore Ravens the most, I look right at the guy who's the favorite to win this job, and that's Jesse Minter. He's plus 200. It just feels like such a good fit. Minter is an absolutely transformative defensive mind. He's worked under Jim Harbaugh, both at Michigan, now at, oh my gosh, the LA Chargers. How did I forget that? And to me, out of all the coordinators in the National Football League that are head coach candidates this year, it feels like Jesse Minter is the best positioned long term. Or if you look back at 5 years, we're going to be like, yeah, this guy was an awesome hire. He was very clearly the best of the group. So Minter's the favorite. I like him there in Baltimore. It seems like a good fit. The Las Vegas Raiders. This is such an intriguing situation because you're coming into a team with the first overall pick likely to be used on Fernando Mendoza, who I think is by far and away the best quarterback in the class, especially with Dante Moore deciding not to declare. I love Fernando Mendoza. I think he's going to be a very good quarterback in the long time for a long time, almost in the vein of a Jared Goff or Matt Ryan. That's what he reminds me of. You'll hear plenty of Mendoza love from yours truly. I really do like him, but you need the right guy to develop Fernando Mendoza if you are the Las Vegas Raiders. And GM John Spytek is hard at work right now figuring out who that is. And when I sit here and I look at this, the leader in the clubhouse is supposedly Brian Flores. And I like Brian Flores as a defensive mind. He is not a good head coach. We saw what that looked like in Miami. He has a reputation of being tough to work with from his time in Miami. I do think he deserves another shot as an NFL head coach, but I don't think developing a quarterback and coming into that spot in Las Vegas is the right move, even with the connection that Brian Flores has with Tom Brady through the fact they shared time at the Patriots together. I don't see Flores being the fit. I do see Clint Kubiak being the fit for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, why do I think that? Well, think about it. Clint Kubiak has done an absolutely unbelievable job as offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks. He's turned Sam Darnold into one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League, something that I don't think anybody ever thought would be uttered, but it's true. That's the deal. And I really, really like the Kubiak fit with Fernando Mendoza, with Ashton Genty, with Brock Bowers. There's definitely something there worth building. But they're going to need an offensive-minded head coach to try and bring the most out of Fernando Mendoza. So I like Clint Kubiak to be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. He is the runner-up right now on BetOnline, plus 350. Miami Dolphins. This is interesting. Jeff Hafley, right now, the defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, is plus 150 to be the next head coach of the Dolphins. And that makes sense. John Eric Sullivan, former VP of player personnel in Green Bay, took the GM job in Miami. I really like that hire for them. But here's what has me thinking. The Green Bay Packers, and no, I'm not throwing the Packers in just yet. They still do have Matt LaFleur hired right now. He's got another year left on his contract. The Packers are currently choosing whether to extend or let him go, maybe even trade him. And LaFleur is not exactly a popular name right now after, needless to say, a terrible loss to the Chicago Bears last weekend at Soldier Field, where they blew a massive lead late in the third and fourth quarter. It was a terrible, terrible game to lose, especially to a division rival that hasn't beaten you in that spot in a long time. Right now, the reports are that he's going to stay. So I am holding out and saying that he stays. But if that's the case, Jeff Hafley is the guy. If that is not the case, and Jeff Hafley does not, if that is not the case, and Matt LaFleur winds up getting traded or fired, then what happens? Then I think LaFleur, who right now is, wait a second. That is Mike LaFleur. That's not Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur is completely off the list right now, interestingly enough. But I think Matt LaFleur is a possibility here in Miami. But I will say Jeff Hafley for the time being. Now, my favorite team, the New York Football Giants. This is an interesting situation because right now, Vegas has the Giants at minus 500 at landing John Harbaugh, which would be a dream. Unfortunately for the Giants, John Harbaugh left the building today after a lengthy interview and did not sign on the dotted line. So as of this moment, John Harbaugh is still not the head coach of the New York Football Giants. It could be that he's waiting to just speak with Tennessee and Atlanta, and he wants to meet with both of them. By the way, the Giants are the only team that brought Harbaugh into the building. Right now, it looks like both Tennessee and Atlanta are coming to his house in Baltimore. But I've learned as a Giants fan that what you typically want over the last 10 years is not what you get. So as much as I want to sit here and believe, and if you're not a Giants fan, you're probably thinking, well, yeah, they're going to get Harbaugh. I don't think the Giants get John Harbaugh. Why? Because that's what every big decision as a New York Giants fan has led to. Now, the downside to that is that you get Kevin Stefanski, who I think the Giants wind up landing. And I still think Kevin Stefanski is a very good coach. NFL Coach of the Year twice, doing that in Cleveland nonetheless, which is one of the biggest organizational trash fires in the National Football League, would still be a good consolation prize, even though it is not the guy that every Giants fan wants. Right now, Stefanski's plus 200, still very good odds. But Harbaugh, minus 500. Vegas says that's the safest play. And yet, I don't believe it. The Atlanta Falcons. Stefanski plus 225. I'm going to go John Harbaugh here. Why? Because John Harbaugh has a relationship with Matt Ryan, has a team that I was very high on Michael Penix coming out of the draft. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be that in the NFL. I'm still holding out a little bit of hope. But when you have a team with Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, all of this talent on defense, and you're in a division where it's really easy to win, and John Harbaugh can bring his own GM in, that just seems like the logical answer for what is going to happen. Right now, John Harbaugh is plus 350. I actually like Clint Kubiak here as a backup. He's plus 240. But my gut tells me Harbaugh takes the job in Atlanta. Cleveland. Who wants this job? Like, This is such a tough one to predict because the Browns just let a good coach in Kevin Stefanski go. You have the Deshaun Watson stuff, the Shadur Sanders stuff. You also have a very talented defense led by Jim Schwartz, who I think ultimately at plus 800 winds up getting promoted from defensive coordinator to head coach. I know that's the easy way out here. I don't care. I have Jim Schwartz taking the head coaching job in Cleveland. This is not an easy job to take, whether it be management, whether it be ownership. There's a lot at play here, but I think Jim Schwartz is, I guess, as close to the guy as you can possibly have, given the situation at hand. He knows the building. He knows what he's already involved in. He knows what he's getting into. I think Jim Schwartz has to be the guy right now, plus 800. Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a situation that we're not in very often. Pittsburgh is in need of a head coach. Only the fourth time since, 1969? Mike Tomlin finally out after however many years. And the early rumors are that Chris Shula is the guy to take his place. And I really like that for Pittsburgh. I think he fits that hard-nosed, blue-collar Pittsburgh Steeler football mentality that they just love. The Rooney family just absolutely adores. The fan base is going to eat it up. Shula's the favorite, plus 250. I like him to go there. The Tennessee Titans. It's my last team. Titans have a lot to offer, and apparently they're in the running for John Harbaugh as well. New stadium, Cam Ward, on a cap space. Thing that concerns me with the Titans, ownership is not well regarded. They left a very highly regarded head coach in Mike Vrabel after several successful years, and that was not a wise choice, to say the least. This is an interesting one because the Titans have a lot going for them, also have a lot going against them. So what do I think they do? I think they look at a team that, they look like a team that has a quarterback that needs to be refined, an offense built around him. Who's the smartest offensive mind in this draft? Coaching carousel. It's not Matt Nagy who's the heads-on favorite. Oh, God, that wouldn't be fun. It is Mike McDaniel, recently let go by the Miami Dolphins. I think McDaniel's the perfect head coach for the Tennessee Titans. Wouldn't be surprised if John Harbaugh takes that either, but I like Mike McDaniel to take the Tennessee Titans job. It is almost 11:30 at night. This is the first episode of Berman's Big Board. Won't be the last, but you'll see this thing evolve over time as we get closer to Mobile and beyond. My name is Zach Berman. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that jazz. Good night.